Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 New Dawn run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're playing one of my favorite characters with one of my very favorite weapons, the Old with the Lute. These are two strong items, of course. The Old is a very strong character and the Lute is a very powerful weapon. But this run isn't totally free because the Lute doesn't give you defensive stats and deals damage a little bit slowly, which is very dangerous for the Old, who wants to kill Elite very quickly before you can get into trouble on the small map. I really like the challenge of this character. You have a lot of economy stat, but because you have less room to dodge, it can be more dangerous to fight against elites, which I think is just an interesting challenge for a character to have. We needed 4 hits there to kill the tree, so I needed to make sure that I would have the ability to do that. We'll take the Corrupted Shard here. This is great early. Getting Curse early, of course, can give you some really powerful economy boosts. Now, again, Curse is a little dangerous for the Old because you're on a much smaller map, so the cursed enemies are correspondingly more likely to hit you. We'll take the Lute here, and I'm going to roll past both of these. We'll leave Weird Ghost in the pool. I think I'll leave Feather in the pool as well. There's actually a good chance on a high economy character like this that we end up wanting to build dodge. Whistle, we'll go ahead and lock, and then we will reroll here. Lost Duck, we will lock as well. When we're using Lute, our weapon is going to scale with luck, so any luck that we can buy is really good. We'll buy another Lute here, and I was really hoping to find a 4th with a musical and support weapon. You really want to level those tags as quickly as possible, since they're both high economy boosts, so a little disappointing only to find 3, but we're still in good shape. The Lute is slow at killing trees because the debuff from it that causes enemies to take more damage does not apply to trees, so that's why it's taking us a little bit longer to kill those. But you can see on Wave 2, we already have 82 materials, which is ridiculously high. A lot of characters would have about 30 at this point, but we have the huge harvesting boosts. I'll take the boxing glove when it shows up for free in a shop like this, or for 5 materials in a shop. Lute, you usually don't need to build melee damage. You prefer to build luck, because you buy it at a much better rate, and it gives you all the stats that luck gives you. And you only scale with 50% of your melee damage, but half a damage extra on each of our weapons is still fine for 5 materials here. And then we're going to roll, and then movement speed is really important on the Old as well, but I'm still looking for economy stats early on. Here's actually a very interesting spot. So I could take 6 dodge and start building dodge early. I could take harvesting or luck, though we're already over 20 harvesting, we're going to get more. Or I could take armor, which is the superior defensive stat usually. But since I think we're likely to build dodge this run, I'm going to get a head start and take the 6 dodge here. And then I'll roll, and I don't really want to reroll for 5. These are pretty bad options. But I guess we'll just take 2 melee damage. Although, as I said, you prefer to build luck in order to increase the damage of your weapons here. This is just a little bit of extra clear speed early, so it can get us off to a slightly faster start. Again, we're having slightly poor luck finding these loots, but let's keep rolling. We can afford to spend a lot of money rolling for loots because the reward for doing so is really high, and of course we have the money thanks to the weapon tag. I sometimes get questions about why we're re-rolling a lot with 2 items locked in the shop. In the first 2 shops, you are guaranteed to see 2 weapons, no more, no less. So 2 of your shop slots will always be weapons. So it doesn't affect our chances of finding loots at all to reroll with those items locked. Here we're going to roll again, and I mean, I guess we're finding these early dodge level ups, so we will make use of those. I definitely need regeneration. I wouldn't mind more harvesting, but again, we're going to pick that up as we go. But playing the Old, I think you're supposed to take movement speed here. Getting this back to a normal quantity quickly is really important. So this is a slightly awkward spot because we again didn't roll into a Lute. I'm going to buy the Lost Duck and I would really like to find at least our 6th so that we get our full weapon tag. So I'm going to buy the Lost Duck, I'll buy the Whistle, these are 2 economy items, then we'll lock Weird Food and we'll roll, and that left us with enough money to buy this loot, even though we got the level 2. And then we'll roll again, and we'll lock loot and a bag. I'm actually going to lock the small fish and ban it here. I've been thinking more about small fish recently, and I think that the number of times that it actually decreases the number of hits that you need to kill enemies is very, very low, and losing 3 attack speed is a big penalty, so I think small fish is an item I've been overbuying and need to buy less. At least on builds that care about attack speed. On burning damage or turret builds, it can still be okay. But for builds that care about attack speed, I think it actually decreases your clear speed to buy that item in most circumstances. Here I'm going to re-roll, of course, and I'll roll again. I do want more attack speed as well, but I'm really hoping to find higher level upgrades. When we already have a bunch of luck, being able to buy higher level ups is really important. And we'll take 10 luck here. That also increases our damage by 1 on each of our level 1 loots, and better than that on our higher level ones. So we'll, of course, buy all of these items. Then we're going to ban the small fish for our free reroll here. Loot only crits at 1.5x, so I'm going to go ahead and ban the Insanity. Ritual is not normally an item that I would be thrilled by on this character. But our percent damage is very low, and the lifesteal isn't terrible, but I think I'm just going to use my ban and get rid of the Ritual here. And then we'll buy a Peaceful Bee. Losing half a damage on each of our weapons is totally fine, and we are already wanting to build dodge. And, of course, the harvesting is good. And then community support is excellent, even on the old, which gets fewer enemy spawns. This is still a big boost to attack speed, which is our limiting factor right now. I'll roll again here, and I'll lock a loot. Landmines is okay on the old, just because the explosion covers a much bigger percentage of the map, so it's more likely to find more enemies. But here, I still think we just want to ban it, so I'm going to go ahead and lock it, and we'll use the ban, and again, get a free reroll by doing that. The amount of money and high-level items that we've found really makes it feel like it's much later than Wave 5, but we're only on Wave 5 right now. But still definitely some things that we need to address for this run. I need to get some defensive stats. We have a little bit of dodge right now, but only 17 HP and no armor. Oop, took a bunch of hits there, and no regeneration, so I need to be very careful for the rest of this wave. Walking into those 2 attacks cost me a lot of money, unfortunately. 9 dodge is very tempting when we're building dodge, but 15 luck is too good to pass on, and then HP is easier to find than armor typically, so we'll just take the 3 armor, and I'm about to reduce my armor by buying community support. Now, unfortunately, locking the landmines here didn't work out because I didn't have enough money to buy all of these items. So I am going to buy the loot, and I'm going to ban the landmines anyways, and then do a reroll here, and another one looking for higher level loot again, and we'll lock metal detector. That was a case where just the feel of the run kind of got in my head, because it seemed like we were much higher level and on later waves than we were. So I didn't even think to do the math of whether we would have enough money to buy all those items and then still ban. But of course on wave 5 you get less money, and I just was thinking because of how strong we were that we were on a later wave than we were on. A case where having played the game a lot and going kind of by the feel of how strong you are can get you in trouble, and making sure that you actually follow the, think about the actual circumstances of the run and not only compare it to other runs is important. You need to get out ahead in economy on the old, because as you can see here, our economy is it starts really, really strong, but then it starts to normalize back towards what other characters have, because minus 10% enemies becomes a much bigger penalty the further you go in the run. So even with harvesting, we're not making that much more money than other characters would now. Go ahead and buy all of these, and I do need more percent damage. I guess I'll buy the missile. Losing 4 attack speed is pretty painful, but we have community support for some extra attack speed, so getting the missile there is going to be pretty helpful, I think, because my percent damage was negative, and then an amazing shop for us with a bunch of items that we want. Being at 0% movement speed instead of negative is a big help here, but what we're really looking for at this point is some regeneration. I need regen and armor before I fight the elite. The old has a very difficult time not taking hits from the elite, and with Lute, as you can see, you usually need to hit enemies twice, so it can be really difficult not to take damage from them. I'm just avoiding the Cursed Walrus here. Taking it down is just too much effort for the reward, so we're just going to dodge it. So I really want to pick up some regeneration and some more armor before we get to the elite fight. Toxic Sludge we'll go ahead and ban, and then Snake will ban as well. Here, so this is another interesting spot. We're level 10, so we have a guaranteed level 3 upgrade. I could take 15 attack speed, really good for this character in general. I could take 4 regeneration, also really important when we currently have no healing at all. Or I could roll for armor. I think I'm going to take the attack speed, though. Right now, attack speed is our biggest limiting factor, even with the community support, so I want to boost that as quickly as possible. We can go ahead and buy all of these items, get our free reroll. The little muscly dude is useful. I'll buy Ugly Tooth as well. I will need to fix my movement speed, but as the old, enemies are already moving 25% slower. That's additive with the move speed penalty from Ugly Tooth, so we will be halving the move speed of enemies that we've hit 4 times when we have the Ugly Tooth here. Go ahead and ban the Dynamite, and then roll, and another great shop for us. These are all stats that we want, and of course the Recycling Machine is a solid economy item, so we'll buy that. We've managed to get a lot of whole shops of items that we want, which is very nice, of course. So the best item we could find is Fairy. Stuff like Plant would be pretty good as well. Just anything that gives us a little bit of regeneration. Definitely up there in terms of our priorities. But you can see how much smoother it is to avoid taking hits once we have just a little bit more attack speed. So that's why the 15% attack speed mattered so much. Just having that tiny bit more means that we're so much more likely to have killed an enemy before it gets to us. And it means that I don't have to dodge as well. And the dodging mistakes that I've been making this run, because I have been making some movement mistakes, just matter a lot less. Here, I guess I'll take this. Well, so it's half a damage on each of my weapons for -1 HP. Is that even worth 11 materials? Honestly, probably not. So I'm going to go ahead and just ban the Claw Tree here. And then let's take 10 more luck, and then we'll take 4 regeneration. And then we will be able to just barely afford all of these items here. Do a reroll. Pearl, of course, is incredible. We have 74 luck, so we're very happy with Pearl. It's going to give us a lot of percent damage. And I'll mirror a Pearl, I think, for 116. Buying 2 of them means that we're a lot more likely to get high... we're a lot more likely to find Pearls in crates once we have 2 of them. I mean, we're twice as likely to find Pearls in crates, but qualitatively, 6% is just much more likely to happen in a run than 3%. So it becomes a much more relevant thing that the Pearls can give you free items once you have 2. And as soon as you start finding free Pearls, you get more and more of them, so the earlier you can boost that chance, the more likely you are for that to actually be a really powerful tool for you. I definitely could use more enemy spawns. That's the piece that we're currently missing in terms of our economy. Handcuffs, we're just going to recycle these. 100 materials with the recycling machine is worth a lot. And the 8 melee damage is fine, but we only get 50% of that. So I would rather just have the 100 materials and we can build more luck. Here I'll just take 4 more regeneration. And then we will indeed mirror a pearl. So we'll buy the mirror, then buy the pearl for 2 of them. Now our percent damage is actually respectable. Propeller hat is great here. The acid, I think I will buy going to 51 HP. It's not amazing, and it does cost me dodge, which we were still trying to build. But it's still an important boost, and hitting 50 HP is a pretty important threshold as well, because it's going to mean that we can take 3 hits from this elite, probably, without dying, or 2 hits before the 3rd one kills us, which makes us a lot safer. I'll take the Pocket Factory here. You can get a lot of turrets in a small space on this character, so even though we aren't building any engineering, the Pocket Factory is still relevant, and obviously it's my favorite item. And then we're gonna do a reroll here for exactly this reason. We still want to upgrade our weapons. Took a couple hits there, which I did not need to do. But we were able to recover most of our health here, and then we got a dodge. I'm going to kill these lampreys, and then we'll focus on taking down the curse alien once the lampreys are gone. Usually that's the order you want to do it in, of course, because that just makes it much safer. Got 3 crates here, because we got 2 loot alien spawns this wave with minus 10% enemies, which is very unlikely. So that was very lucky, of course. Up to 550 materials in that wave as well. I'll take the cauldron. It does hurt to lose regeneration, but this is a good item for us. And then more harvesting, a little more damage. The wheat is still good. And we definitely want these cursed items, and 10% extra damage is great here. 15 luck is really good. It increases the base damage of our weapons and increases our percent damage because we have double pearl. But I think I have to take the 3 armor at this point, and then I'm going to take 9 dodge as well. So now we are starting to build a respectable amount of dodge. We will upgrade our loot, and by the Pocket Factory, we'll pick up the Corrupted Shard and roll. Losing the regeneration, again, pretty painful, but 20 luck is impossible to turn down on this character. We'll take the cute monkey as well, and then roll. Baby gecko, I just don't think we need it. I could buy boxing glove because it increases our damage per attack by 1 going into this next wave, and that could be relevant. And the knockback isn't terrible. I think I will buy the boxing glove here. I wouldn't buy this except that I just want to buy something before we fight the elite. So even a marginally relevant item like that is worth buying. Now this elite, we probably will not be able to kill. It's too difficult to dodge its attack pattern with a short-ranged weapon like this on such a small arena. I'm going to give it a go here, I think, but if I take 1 more hit, yeah, then I'm just going to have to back off and heal up, and we'll just run away from this elite. Usually on the old, you prefer to try to kill the elite, because dodging it is very hard in these small maps, but this elite was an unlucky spawn for us, where it's just very difficult to focus damage on it without taking hits in return, and we don't quite have the damage to, or the healing to survive. So, much safer just to avoid fighting it here. I wanted to go for that tree, because I knew it would give me 5 healing, so it would keep us alive. Obviously, this wave was a little weak for us. Because we had to run away from the elite, but we lived. We'll take the materials there, and then 3 more armor, and I'm not going to buy, just because we have Pocket Factory doesn't mean we need to buy engineering or engineering items like the pile of books. That is something that people will often invest into just because you have one engineering item, but this is a supplemental strategy. It's not a replacement for building your primary stats, so don't get sidetracked. We'll take the whetstone here. The 4 lifesteal, even though our weapon doesn't attack that fast, is still very relevant healing. And I'll take the bat as well. Little frog, I think we will pass on. Pickup radius is good for this character, but I still want to build dodge, so I'm going to pass on reducing my dodge. We have negative crit chance, so tentacle doesn't do anything. Sharp bullet would be fine with the pocket factory, but again, we're going to not build around that item specifically. We want to just make our character stronger. The dangerous bunny is, of course, great for our economy. Cute monkey is excellent healing. Do I want the mutation? I think I do. Obviously, the ranged and elemental damage doesn't matter, but the 2 curse is just good. Then we will upgrade our weapon and buy a medical turret. Medical turret is especially good for the old because you're on a small map, so you're just much more likely to be near the medical turret. But you can see why I say that this run is fun and you're very powerful, but it's not free, because you can still get into bad situations just because of how small the map is and how this weapon requires multiple hits to kill high health enemies. So they get to get really close to you before you have enough damage to kill them. Yeah, we'll take the feather here, so we're just building dodge, and then we'll take 4 more regeneration. That's perfect. Sad tomato is another really good find, so happy to buy this entire shop. I'm gonna roll again here, and another corrupted shard is great as well. Still don't need that melee damage. I will buy the butterfly. I think lifesteal is starting to become more of a component of our healing, so we'll buy that as well. And then I'll roll a couple more times because I really want to find more good items. Another principle that I often see confusion about that I think is worth keeping in mind is it's just good to spend your money. So seeing more items by rolling and then locking them is often better, because it makes sure that you have good items to spend your money on. And locking items that are better than average is also good. Yes, you might find a top 10% item, but you don't need top 10% items by not locking and then letting another item show up. You don't need top 10% items to win. You just need a bunch of top 50% items. So making sure that you get those is by far more important. I think how people lose this game by far the most often is by not spending their money on things that help them. Either by buying stuff that just doesn't do anything, or by looking for only the perfect item and not just buying good items. We would get 12% damage, but lose 3 dodge and 6% attack speed. My attack speed is still bad. I don't think this is worth 160 materials. The 12% damage is fine, the attack speed is fine, but we're building dodge, so I don't want to lose that. And because we have recycling machine, we can go ahead and recycle that and get a lot more items. We'll take the blindfold here, and then I will take this 12% damage upgrade, though. I'll buy the fertilizer, and Lute and butterfly and alien worm. Losing consumable healing is painful on this character, of course. Not only are we on a small map, so we're more likely to pick them up, it's an important component of our healing setup currently, and we're a luck-based build, so we're more likely to find them. But all that said, just getting more health and regen is going to be very helpful to us. Okay, so Giant Belt is a way that we can much more easily kill elites if I get some crit chance. Is it worth building crit chance to enable Giant Belt? I don't think so. I think I would rather just boost my survivability and damage the normal way rather than have to build around crit, which isn't very good for this weapon. And then we're going to go ahead and then we'll be able to kill the bosses just by attacking them. The blindfold that we found there immediately does mean that the Giant's Belt would have worked out a little better, but 3% crit chance. It just takes so much investment into critical hit for that item to actually be relevant for us when we're starting from negative amounts. We would rather just get our damage high. We're now at the point where our healing is really good, so we can tank all of these horde enemies with our lifesteal and regeneration and everything. So obviously we don't want to take a ton of damage for no reason, but we can run at these enemies and get a lot more money by killing them faster. And this is exactly why we wanted to build armor, dodge, and regen and health and everything, because getting to this state means that we just have way more money overall on this character. We'll take the bag here for sure. That's an amazing item. Do I want 3% lifesteal? I think I'm going to roll. I feel like the lifesteal is good, but I do feel like we can do a little better. I definitely want a higher level upgrade, though. Alright, I guess I'll take 3 regen, so I would rather have taken the 3 lifesteal, but these rerolls are getting really expensive. And I wanted to save some money to be able to reroll on our level 20 level up, since this is a guaranteed level 3, but we'll take 15 luck here, because that's always going to be good. Go ahead and buy these. Small magazine is interesting, so it's 10% attack speed for -6 damage, which is really expensive. We do get a free reroll, so we get a small discount there. I think for this character it's not worth it, but this is an item that is worth looking at, even when you're not a ranged damage build. We'll buy the Lute here. Celery tea is pretty dangerous for the old, so we're going to go ahead and pass on that. We're already killing enemies a little slowly. This would just mean we take a hit from every enemy that spawns, and the upside of this item just honestly isn't that high. Leather vest is great. Cute monkey is incredible, of course, but let's go ahead and upgrade our loot first for faster kills. Having several cute monkeys also gives us an extremely reliable way to heal. Very nice. On a melee character, that item just ends up being a lot of value all the time, because not only... Well, it's hard to buy it on a ranged character, of course, because it decreases your ranged damage, but melee characters also benefit from it because they're right on top of the enemies that they kill, so they pick up the material immediately and get the healing. Killing both of those at once was definitely a little ambitious, but I felt like we more than had enough damage to do it. Making sure to kill the pufferfish with my weapon attacks, because if the turrets snipe them, then we'll get the pufferfish explosions, which are hard to dodge on this map. Should have the damage to kill that loot alien there. We did indeed get it. We're going into not an elite wave, so Peacock I think is worth buying here, even though we passed on Celery Tea. It's much more immediate benefit, and we can more easily deal with high damage enemies than high health enemies. We'll recycle this. Silver Bullet, that should help us kill the elite much faster, or the boss rather. We will keep upgrading our weapons. I'll buy the goldfish here. There's some high-level items that would be really good for us, and we actually found a couple of them. We'll buy the panda first, but we'll take the potato as well. But we want this since it gives us the luck immediately. And we'll do one more reroll here, and we can buy another loot. We actually have quite a bit of ranged damage. Well, we have 2 ranged damage. I guess I just decreased it a little bit, but we have more ranged damage than you would expect on a melee build that's been decreasing its range with cute monkeys. So this does 5 damage, more than you would think. No, the axolotl. Well, that would have been a way to get a lot of ranged damage, but sadly, we can't afford it. You do not want to let mini-bosses spawn when you're playing this character, because the small map makes it really difficult to dodge their attacks. But you can see that we still are not completely safe yet. Obviously, we're very strong, and we're favorites to win this run for sure. Don't get me wrong. But because my armor still isn't amazing, when we take a hit, it hits really hard. And this is a peacock wave as well. But when we take a hit, it still does do a lot of our health. And it's hard not to take hits because we're on this very small arena. Yeah, I'll take another HP here. I don't need more than that, though. Let me get this 6 move speed, actually. I really want positive move speed. I hadn't really realized that I'd brought my move speed back to negative. Is a level 2 dodge upgrade better than a level 4 damage upgrade for us? It's actually very close. Dodge gets better the more points of dodge you have. So at 43 dodge, the 6 dodge is really valuable. But I think the damage is going to help us kill the elite a little faster, so we're going to buy that first. We'll take the potato here, and then we will combine, buy another loot. Broken Mouth and Diploma, I'm going to pass on both of these, and I'm just rolling for anything that helps us a little more in the short term. And Defective Steroids, this is a very small boost to our damage output, and it's plus 1 melee damage. We don't really care about the health, and we lose attack speed, so we're going to pass on that as well. Clover is exactly the type of item that we're hoping for, though, and Clockwork Wasp as well, and we will also take the Injection. So we should be able to kill the elite this wave. This is also not the best elite spawn for us, because it can be hard to stay still with this weapon set, but our damage is so high now that we should be able to just kill it very easily. We got 3 lampreys out of that blobfish. I'm not sure how that happened. Oh yeah, 3 again. So it's supposed to drop 2 if you kill it with a melee weapon, and 4 if you kill it with a ranged weapon. But it's consistently dropping 3 for us. I don't know why that is. We have decreased enemy spawns. Is the loot counting as killing it with a ranged weapon for some reason? Or is there a mechanic that I'm just, like, forgetting about? Weird. Alright, I don't know why that was happening. 180 for 6 damage on each of our weapons, so that's a pretty small boost. I'm just gonna recycle this, and we'll take the armor for sure. We'll take 5 more regeneration, that's perfect. Clover, we will buy as well. So the Clover, for example, is giving us 5 damage on each of our weapons for 180, but also 6 dodge and the benefits of luck. So that's why something like the big arms is just not that efficient for this character. We will take the salt water as well. Even small amounts of attack speed and move speed are good. The wisdom does synergize well with the loot, but I just don't think that it's likely to make our kills on the boss faster. We're probably going to kill them in the nearer the beginning of the wave, so wisdom is just not going to have too much benefit for us. We'll buy the bait as well, and then I'll roll one more time. This level 2 loot doesn't do anything. The bait does, and yeah, nothing else here that we really care about. Staying near my medical turret at the start of this wave, just because I had the bait. So I wanted to have slightly more health when those guys actually spawn. It felt like they spawned weirdly delayed compared to when they usually spawn from buying bait there. Probably just because there's fewer enemies, so there was less stuff for me to look at, so it was, it felt like longer because I was paying more attention, but a couple oddities that have happened in this run. Okay, well, I was gonna run up and kill that tower, but then the Lute alien spawned, so obviously we wanted to run down and kill that. Do I want the 1 regen or 1 damage on each of my weapons more? I think I want a regeneration and 60 materials more. And then we're recycling all of these. With 160 luck, I feel like I can get a level 3 upgrade, or at least something stronger. Yeah, I'll just take 2 armor, though. Armor's still really good. We'll take the loot, we'll take the bait, and then we'll roll. Finally got some positive enemy spawns. A little late, but the gentle alien is still good here. The percent damage is fine, and the HP is fine, but mostly it's just going to be more consumables during the boss wave, which will keep us alive. Do I want the Weird Ghost? We have 33 regeneration, so yeah, I'll buy Cursed Weird Ghost for 6 HP. This isn't particularly good, buying the Weird Ghost here. In fact, it's pretty dangerous. And the 6 HP doesn't matter that much, though the curse is a little relevant. But it would be really funny if I died on wave 19 after buying Weird Ghost, so we're doing it just for the jokes. I'm gonna run to my medical turret here. Because we had bait as well. You can see how high our damage is at this point. Even without the debuff from Lute, we're just dealing a lot of damage every swing. Because we built quite a bit of luck. Sadly, we never found an extra pearl. That would have been a huge boost to this character. $700 materials here. 37 luck with the Cursed Shady Potion. Amazing. That's going to boost our damage. Okay, all I had to do was complain about it, and the Pearl showed up. So that's 20% damage. Just incredible there. 5% dodge, effectively, is actually still just better than most other things we could get at this point. So we'll just take the 12 dodge upgrade. And then we'll roll here, and roll again. Well... better late than never. We'll still take the fairy, going up to 50 regeneration. We'll roll again here, and also better late than never, the cyber ball. That's a lot of damage, and I'll take the wings as well, getting a little bit more move speed. And the range isn't irrelevant for a weapon with this short of a range. And then let's go and see if we can kill the bosses here. So I'm gonna back off a little just because we started at half health. And I want to stack them on top of each other if possible, so we're hitting them both at once. Just speeding up our kill on them. But when it's a choice between attacking the two, we're going to attack the whale boss because it's the more dangerous, especially on this small map. It's harder to dodge its attack patterns, so killing the whale boss first makes you a lot safer. And there we go. We have defeated the bosses and won with the Lute. This was a really fun run. Lots of really cool items that we got very early as well. The early community support, a lot worse on this character, but so good on this weapon that was a really strong item for us. This was one of the better recycling machines I've seen as well. We got a lot of marginal items that we wanted to recycle, so this ended up giving us a lot of money. Also, 600 materials from our 2 bags. Not bad at all. The pearls, of course, were 60 damage. Cute monkeys were incredible. 225 healing. 160 materials saved from the dangerous bunny. Medical turret was also very good, with 115 healing on that. And what else? Anything else? The goldfish giving us the panda and the potato was a really nice pickup as well. So this was one of the better goldfish that I've seen, also giving us 2, not just relevant, but actually above curve items that we were very happy to see. Getting to 60 dodge kept us really safe at the end there, and the cyber ball dealt 2,000 damage in the last wave, so not that exciting, but still a fun item to have on a luck-based build. Alright, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this run, and of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. It helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.